Welcome to this webinar. Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Divya Tadil and I work with Sustainable Energy for All. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar on convened by UN Energy and supported by Sustainable Energy for All. Today, we're gathered today to talk about SDG7, which is affordable, reliable, and sustainable and modern energy for all. And today's webinar is going to have a specific focus on the Asia-Pacific region. We have a number of energy compacts from that region, and which is why we decided to host this webinar specifically talking about Asia-Pacific and the progress made in the region. As you might be aware, yesterday we had a similar webinar focused on Africa, talking about some of the compacts that have and progress against the compacts that came from Africa. Today we're going to do the flow of the webinar will be a short presentation on the Energy Compact report. As most of you might know, we published the report in September on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, and we're going to do a deep dive on that report and show you some of the insights from that report. Following that, we have a panel discussion. We have some distinguished panel members who are from Energy Compact proponents from the region, including government representatives from the UAE and Nepal. We have colleagues from UNSCAP and from Updater in Japan, who's one of our signatories on the 24/7 Carbon-Free Energy Compact. Without any further delay, I want to hand it over to my colleague Fadim Naika, who's going to do the presentation on the Energy Compact's annual report.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Divya, for introduction and for setting the scene. Hello, everyone. Great to be with colleagues across the Asia-Pacific region today. And in the next 10 minutes, I will share the key results from the 2025 Energy Compact's annual progress report and what they mean for delivery. I will share my screen now. So let's start with the overall takeaway from this year's report. Energy Compact proponents continue to deliver measurable progress, and commitments now total $1.6 trillion, with over $290 billion have already been mobilized and deployed, real operations, assets, and services. So the Compact model is converting commitments into sustained delivery. As delivery advances, ambition is also strengthening. Targets updated upward this year. So electricity access now, commitment for electricity access is now over 730 million people, clean cooking 438 million people, and finance is up by roughly $200 billion versus last year. The planned scale of action is expanding and not shrinking. And here is who is driving this momentum. 215 proponents with 162 active energy compacts and 82 catalytic partnerships. Progress comes from collaboration across governments, companies, NGOs, international organizations, and technical institutions. And this engagement spans all regions. Across the portfolio, 61 member states are engaged, from global partnerships to highly localized delivery. From Asia-Pacific region, we have 21 individual energy compacts, but also a number of 73 global or multiple focus region include Asia-Pacific region as well. And with that, let's move to the progress data itself. Each year, proponents self-report through the Energy Compact Progress Survey. This enables accountability, improves comparability, and strengthens the evidence base year on year. Participation reached a new milestone this cycle. So 81 submissions this year is the highest to date. And across 4 cycles, 80% of proponents have reported at least once. Stronger participation improves completeness and reliability of the data set. And so what does the consolidated picture show us? 284 million people with improved electricity access, 33 million with clean cooking access, 301 gigawatt of renewable capacity installed, and over 320 terawatt hours saved through efficiency. As we mentioned earlier, 292 billion US dollars mobilized to date. And these outcomes are accumulating year after year, starting 2021. In parallel, thematic collaborations are sharpening outcome tracking. And here we have some multi-stakeholder compacts. Dedicated survey work, for example, 24/7 carbon-free energy and gender energy compact, capture specific contributions with clearer metrics. We are moving from activity descriptions to measured outcomes. And here's one example in carbon-free electricity. Signatories reported 944 terawatt hours of carbon-free power enabled, and pathways include procurement, direct generation, and system enabling services. Some now track performance hourly, which is very granular. And beyond supply, the data also shows wider development effects. For example, with SDG linkages, improved electricity for over 10,000 health facilities, more than 2.7 million green jobs reported, extensive collaboration reflected in convenings and agreements. And so inclusion metrics are also becoming clearer. So more proponents now report for gender, as previously shown here, and youth inclusion. Nearly half of respondents report structured gender and youth engagement, capacity building, job pathways, participation in delivery. As completeness improves, these outcomes will be easier to compare year after year as we revise our survey. And let me ground this with a regional example before I close. Yeah, this is some more numbers on the SDG linkages. So here we have a case study from the previous year. Husk Power Systems deploys community-based solar mini-grid serving households, small businesses, schools, and health centers, improving reliability and reducing diesel use. They reach hundreds of communities with a goal of 5,000 mini-grids by 2030. The potential reach is tens of millions of people. And Husk is just one example from the region. This year, we also saw reporting from a wide set of proponents, including UPay, Youth for Energy Southeast Asia, Nepal, United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, who join us today, NTPC, Adani Green Energy Limited, GSW Energy, Renew, BIA, JK Cement, and Bharti Airtel Limited. So these are proponents that have their own compacts. Also, we have 24/7 carbon-free energy signatories, gender energy signatories. Some of them join us today, for example, a colleague from Updater. So together, these illustrate diverse delivery models, national programs, community initiatives, and private sector scaling. With that, I will summarize and hand over to our panel. So commitments and reported progress continue to grow across access, renewables, finance, and efficiency. Survey participation and data quality are the strongest to date, giving us a clearer shared picture of implementation. Thank you. And now I'm pleased to pass to our regional leaders who will speak directly to the realities of implementation on the ground. Over to the moderator to introduce the panel.
Thank you, Vadim. Thanks to everyone who's joined the webinar today. My name is Bala. I'm an energy officer at SE for All, work in the UN Energy team. So thank you so much. Today we are joined by 4 representatives from 4 different energy compacts or proponents, as we would like to call. So thank you so much for joining us today. I think we're doing quite well for time. So we have about 45 minutes for the panel discussion and would love to sort of hear your views. So perhaps I would like to start with Mr. Narayan Adhikari from the Alternative Energy Promotion Center at the Government of Nepal. So Nepal's Energy Compact, which they recently updated, by the way, focuses on scaling renewable power, including hydropower, and achieving universal clean cooking access by 2030. What key results or success stories best illustrate your progress in Nepal's Energy Compact?
Thank you, Bala. Good morning, good afternoon, and namaste from Nepal. This is Narada Adhikari, Deputy Executive Director from Alternative Energy Promotion Center. While talking about energy sector in Nepal, you have rightly pointed out, if we compare our past trends, in 2020, we have electrification rate around 35%, and today we have crossed 99%, right? So now we are working to provide electricity to remaining 1% households. And those households are, located in very remote areas. So we have a very, difficult terrain. So for that, we have been, implementing this solar mini grid and small mini and micro hydro. So while there was no grid, actually at that time as a temporary solution, we had provided subsidy schemes for promotion of mini and micro hydropower for many areas. And once now the grid is there, now we have a plan to do grid integration with those mini and micro hydropowers. So we have demonstrated some successful 7 to 8 micro hydropowers which are connected to national grid, and the communities are earning revenue from this project. So that's the one part. While talking about electrification rates, nevertheless, the quality of the electricity throughout the year is a major challenge at the moment, because although we are exporting electricity to India and Bangladesh during rainy season, because our hydropower are mostly based on run of the river. So during dry season, we have to import from India. So right, so during surplus we are exporting, and during dry season we need to import from India. So in view of that, government of Nepal is planning to build large hydro storage, so that we can have year-round surplus of electricity. That's the one part. So on that direction, government is uh, launching various programs and projects, and by attracting to foreign investments and private companies, right? So the discussion is going on, and some initiatives are being taken place, so in electricity sector, right? So while talking about this other aspects of the energy, that is clean cooking, right? Clean cooking, we have not achieved successful result, I would say, because till date, more than 50% households are based on traditional biomass, donkey, fuel wood, crop residues, etc. Right? So whereas 44% of households are using LPG. Actually, our government's priority was to limit LPG intervention up to 39% as per SDG national roadmap. However, we have already crossed that. So we have not been able to limit that to 39%. So in last 10 years, the LPG consumption has been doubled, because Nepal being a net importer of fossil fuel. So in view of energy security and in view of world, politics or something like that. So it's really, necessary to explore alternate solutions. And for that, we have been promoting this biogas program, improved cooking stoves program, right? So those things are there. So we are also, direct access entity for Green Climate Fund. So we have been implementing this flagship program under clean cooking solutions, where our target is to provide, clean energy to 1 million households in lowland areas, right? So we have been implementing those. And earlier, we have initiated our, our programs through the provision of subsidy. Now the modality has been changed. So we have also introduced loan and other financial, mechanisms. So we have been implementing the Sustainable Energy Challenge Fund, where private sectors can come up with various innovative ideas, and we are providing some sort of support to them. So with these, we have successfully, done fuel switching in, diesel-based industries by intervention of pellet, right? So, and also solar rooftop things, are being promoted. So those are the things there. The foremost challenge for us at the moment is to, upgrade our national grid to get quality level electricity. And for clean cooking solution, we need to work hard, and we have been, collaborating with different various development partners, with local governments and provincial governments, and that seems to be a little challenge, unlike electricity, right? So, should I stop here, or okay?
I think this is great, Mr. Adhikari. We'll come back to you again later on, but I think your remarks were incredibly insightful. And well, congratulations, first of all, on the electricity access progress. And clean cooking access is indeed one of the biggest challenges, not just in Nepal, but like in region-wide. So very glad to hear your insights. For our next question, I'd like to move to Mr. Nawal Alhana from the Future Energy Department at the United Arab Emirates. So the UAE's Energy Compact builds on your Net Zero 2050 strategy, including rapid deployment of renewables and international partnerships to expand clean energy access. Could you share some of the main milestones achieved under this compact so far and how international cooperation has supported that progress?
Definitely. Thank you for having me today. So basically, as UAE, we have updated our long-term energy strategy, the UAE Energy Strategy 2050, and deeply aligned with our Net Zero 2050 strategy, which has enabled us to deliver tangible progress both domestically and internationally. So basically, a key milestone we can speak about is that we have already accelerated the energy deployment when it's come to clean or renewable. So in 2024, we have suppressed 6.8 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity, including wind, solar, waste-to-energy projects. And also we have in the country, we are deploying nuclear. And the share of the clean energy generation was achieved at 30%. And this in the country, and this is the first milestone that we could be proud of. The percentage of rise of the electricity renewable energy capacity between 2022 and 2024, it was 89%. So this is also a key milestone. We have invested so far more than 189 billion dirham till 2024, and this is also one of the key milestones that we have achieved. When it's come to global leadership and renewable finance access, we have invested more than $50 billion in renewable energy and clean energy projects across more than 70 countries, many of them emerging markets. And the partnership with IRENA within the Energy Transition Accelerator financing platform, we mobilize a concessional finance to support energy across and and climate resilience infrastructure. Also, we can speak about hydrogen. We have a national hydrogen strategy that we launched in 2023 to position UAE as a leader producer, exporter, and a hub for low carbon hydrogen in the region and globally as well, including the derivatives that support global decarbonization and domestic decarbonization in hard-to-abate sector. When it's coming to global collaboration, it is indeed one of the key enablers for us to achieve the commitment of the country in the country and abroad. So UAE also used to be the the presidency of COP28, which built the global consensus for tripling renewable, doubling energy efficiency, and scaling climate finance, both core themes are reflected in our energy compact. And in this regard, we also established the Global Energy Efficiency Alliance to make sure that we achieve our promises when it's come to the deliverables within the COP28. I'll stop here, and if there is anything, I'll be more than happy to emphasize on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nawal. That was a wonderful intervention. It's very impressive to hear that UAE has also supported clean energy projects in various capacities in 70 countries. That sort of illustrates the spirit of the energy compacts that we also wanted to showcase. So thank you so much for your intervention. Next, I would like to go to Michael Williamson from from UNSCAP at the Energy Division. So, Michael, UNSCAP has supported member states through its SDG7 tracking framework and regional policy dialogues. What recent examples show how the compact has helped accelerate national energy transitions? Over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Bala, and greetings to you. Great to see you again, and also to Divya and Jackie and Vadim. Congratulations on all the great work that you've been doing on this over the last couple of years. So my job is a little bit harder because I've got to speak about an entire region, because ESCAP has 53 member states, and there is a lot going on under the surface, obviously. I think as an overall statement, when we think about energy transition, it's a complex process where we need to have multiple agendas moving at different timescales. And usually we speak in terms of the language of SDG7. And SDG7 paints this complexity in quite broad brushstrokes because it's a globally agreed agenda. And I think the beauty of energy compacts is that it allows member states and even private companies and other stakeholders to set out what they think are the important aspects of the energy transition for them. So you get different nuances coming out. Nepal, for example, talks about the electrification of end uses, but there are other examples of countries that are setting specific targets in things like electric mobility, renewables, energy efficiency, and so forth. So we see that in our region coming out, these kind of interesting dimensions of the energy transition. And indeed, if we take a couple of steps back and think about what are the key elements of energy transition, what are the areas where we need to progress, one useful model to think about is to say, okay, it's like a tripod with three legs. One leg is policy, the other is technology, and the third is finance. And in fact, all of those three things can be bound up in energy compacts. We can talk about better policies, we can talk about technological progress, and we can talk about the finance. And the finance is actually critical because I think we're reaching a point now where technology has advanced very rapidly. The costs have come down. We have great examples of policies, reverse auctions. In Ms. Nawal's country, solar power is booming, and a lot of that has been through very progressive policies. Now it's the finance. Where do we get the finance? And for developing countries, this is the real challenge because the fiscal space is quite limited. The costs of capital are much higher because investors see more risk. So how do you get all of these low-cost renewables projects working? It really boils down to some extent a big challenge in terms of financing. But as we look across the region, I mean, there's some very good examples of countries with energy compacts. A lot of progress has been made. So India, for example, has a target of 450 gigawatts of renewables by 2030. It's moving ahead very quickly on deployment of renewables. I saw the expansion last year was something like 24% growth of renewables in India. So things are moving very, very quickly, as indeed they are in China. Nepal, we just heard from Mr. Adhikari. They have a couple of targets in terms of increasing renewables generation to 28,500 megawatts by 2035. The hydro sector has been really expanding. They're also targeting to electrify transport, industry, and heat. And heat, can include cooking as well, which Mr. Adhikari referred to. But when we think about Nepal, it's actually a very strategic objective because Nepal's electricity system is based on run-of-the-river hydropower. So if you don't use it at the exact time it's generated, it's not really possible to store. And that's where these electric vehicles are really synergistic with what Nepal is trying to do. And I don't have the statistics on electrification of transport in Nepal, but I know people who come back from Kathmandu, they're really amazed by the number of electric vehicles on the streets. So things are changing very, very quickly. So there are a number of really good, examples of progress. I think as a general comment, I mean, if we think back to the region-wide picture, we just completed our regional trends report on energy for sustainable development this year. And if I were to point out some gaps where we need maybe more attention in energy compacts in the future, it's a couple of things. I mean, obviously with access to electricity, Mr. Adhikari pointed out 99% in Nepal. We have about 98% region-wide, so very, very good access to electricity, but maybe some work in terms of the quality of that access. Do people get good quality electricity? Is it available at all times of day? Is it affordable? That's one. In terms of clean cooking, we're at 78% regionally. It's grown quite quickly, but we need a lot more progress in clean cooking. And one thing that can accelerate that is actually electric cooking. That's one of the key strategies. The last 2 points to make is really about renewables and energy efficiency, which are the core, of course, of the energy transition. Energy efficiency progress has slowed down a lot, and this is disappointing. It's also counterintuitive. With all of this great technology and great IT systems, artificial intelligence, better lighting technologies, heat pumps, why are we not moving as quickly now on energy efficiency? This is a big question. We need more study, but we need more commitments from countries in energy efficiency. And the last point, very quickly, just to make on renewables, there's been a huge acceleration of renewable deployment since around 2022 in the Asia Pacific region. Sometimes we don't get the numbers until 2 or 3 years later, but looking at other data sources, a lot of deployment happening after COVID-19. The challenge we face is that it's not happening everywhere. It's the big countries like China and India are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. We don't see the smaller developing countries moving as quickly as renewables. To some extent, this is to do with some of the challenges that I mentioned around finance, but this is an area that we need to seek more improvement. So in the interest of time, I'll stop there, Bala, and pass back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael. Very, very insightful intervention, especially sharing the regional trends. Pleased to inform that like some of those areas that you mentioned are squarely in the focus of energy compacts, and we hope to be doing more, especially around like finance and tracking more granularly in terms of the quality of energy supply. Wonderful. So next, I would like to pass the floor to Ms. Riho Atsuta from Updater. So Updater is a signatory of one of the multi-stakeholder compacts, which Vadim mentioned at the start of the presentation, which is the UN 24/7 Carbon-Free Energy Compact, aspiring for like a carbon-free grid every hour of the day, everywhere, all the time. So a question to you, Riho. What motivated Updater to join the 24/7 CFE Compact, and how does this align with Japan's wider clean energy transition?
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Hello, and konnichiwa from Japan. It's really nice to meet you all. And my name is Riho Atsuta from Updater, known in Japan as Minna Denryoku, which means everyone's electricity. We are a social enterprise that connects electricity users, companies, and local renewable producers through what we call face-to-face electricity. So for us, joining the 24/7 Carbon-Free Energy Compact was not just a symbol commitment, it was a logical and forward-looking decision, a step to align our practical work in Japan with global standards for carbon-free electricity. So our mission is to make renewable energy visible, reliable, and consensually chosen by everyone. So in Japan, we still face a fundamental challenge. In our power market, the environmental attributes of renewable energy are separated from the physical supply and issued as non-fossil certificates for trading. These certificates can be traded or accounted for on an annual or monthly basis, but the system does not show when and where clear power is actually generated. So as a result, even if someone purchases renewable energy, they might still be using fossil-based power at night without realizing it. So we feel that this had to change, not only technologically, but also culturally. People deserve to know who produced their energy, where it came from, and when it was generated. So only then can we truly say we are using renewable energy in real meaningful way. So that is why we developed our blockchain-based tracking system called Connection 2.0, which enables 30 minutes level electricity matching between each customer's consumption and specific renewable generation. It is already being used by major corporations, factories, local governments, and individual households in Japan. It's more than 1,259 corporate clients and over 20,000 households switching to renewable power through the system. So every data point is traceable and verifiable, building trust between producers and users. And this philosophy aligns with the vision of the 24/7 carbon-free energy framework. At the national level, Japan has set an ambitious goal of achieving carbon neutrally by 2050. However, the share of renewables in Japan power mix is still around 20%. To increase this ratio in a meaningful way, we believe that the 24/7 carbon-free energy compact can play a crucial role by promoting hourly matching and transparent data. It can accelerate renewable energy development and help shape the next stage of Japan's policy and market design. And to make that happen, it takes more than voluntary action from companies or communities. 24/7 carbon-free energy practices are also essential to inform and accelerate policy change. And when governments can see real data and concrete examples of hourly matching, it becomes easier to design better systems and market mechanisms, which in turn helps accelerate the introduction of renewables. At the same time, participation from citizens, companies, and local communities remains vital. Through our projects, we have seen how people's understanding of energy changes when they can actually see who produces it and when it is generated. It becomes not only an environmental action, but a practical fundamental for smarter, more transparent policy and markets. So if I were to summarize our motivation in one sentence, we want to make the clean energy transition visible, data-driven, and inclusive. And we believe that 24/7 carbon-free energy compact provides a global structure to make that vision real, not only for Japan, but also for the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Riho. A wonderful summary of the 24/7 CFE work and like the growing importance in Japan. For the sort of attendees of the webinar, we are pleased to inform that we do plan to do one more webinar sometime later this month on the specific changes to carbon accounting under the Greenhouse Gas Protocol, which might be particularly meaningful for 24/7 CFE signatories. But let's do another round of questions. I think we heard a lot of useful insights, and perhaps now we can venture into the future to see how things might be. Starting off again with you, Mr. Adhikari. As Nepal expands its clean energy access goals, what are the next big steps or partnerships you're focusing on to attract more investments and strengthen regional cooperation?
Thank you, Bala. Thank you, Mr. Michael. I mean, you have nicely captured the growing expansion of these EV charging vehicles, and we have also supported many charging stations throughout the country in collaboration with Nepal Electricity Authority. And that's that has opened new avenues for this electricity consumption, right? And it also helps to reduce imported fossil fuel. So, I mean, now next journey in our case, I mean, from one point of view, it seems that easy solution for cooking would be electric cook stoves, right? But technical point of view, given our transmission and distribution systems, it's a really challenging to balance all those peak load during cooking hours. For instance, morning from 7 to 9 and evening generally people use cook stove around 6 to 8, right? So it's really difficult to sustain those load under our current infrastructures. That's why currently our focus is to upgrade those systems, as I already mentioned, right? This also provides quality electricity services to users, and it also helps to convert those LPG and traditional biomass to electric cook stoves. And definitely it demands huge cost, right? For that, government has, for the first time in transmission and distribution, government has, offered a critical role for private sectors. Earlier, private sectors are engaged only for generation. So it has been a year that government has started, right, to bring private sectors also in transmission and distributions. And Nepal is actively cooperating with Asian Development Banks and World Bank for upgradation of those systems, and we have been receiving a very good support from them as well, right? So, however, that's not sufficient if we talk to cover whole country, right? So for that, government has, started bilateral and multilateral talk with various development partners. For instance, government of Japan, right, Korea, right, KfW Germany. So those are the things there. So actually, it has. If we talk about Nepal's grid, it's one of the world's cleanest grid, right? We would say cleanest grid, and 99.958% from hydro. So that means, and the other thing is, in India, in our neighbor country, India and Bangladesh, the coal is being massively used for electricity production, right? So actually, we want to cooperate, we want to coordinate with the government of India and government of Bangladesh together with development partners, and we will produce very clean energy. And we are ready to export those electricity which can potentially replace coal-based electricity in India and Bangladesh. So that will definitely will be the key milestones if we talk about climate change from climate change perspective, and that would be very good cooperation in region, right? So that's a one national aim of the country like Nepal. So that's why we have been requesting development partners together with government of India and Bangladesh. I mean, let's join hand to establish sustained electric network in Nepal so that we can clean energy can be provided to them or something like that. So that's one part. So again, the issue of clean cooking, from our perspective, what we see is it might take remarkable significant time to upgrade those national grid, and by then we need to find a solution for clean cooking. For that, we have been promoting this biogas, waste to energy things, induction, to some extent induction stoves, right? So and tier 3 stoves. However, the challenge is there. I mean, especially in this clean cooking, solutions, right? So, however, we have been collaborating with local governments, and we have been, as I already mentioned, we have been implementing these clean cooking solutions under GCF, and similar activities have been planned with other development partners. And we have a biomass energy strategy, right? So it clearly spells the importance of biomass energy in Nepal. So we also have a national energy strategy, right? So as Michael has rightly pointed out, the work has not been, initiated as per expectation if we talk about energy efficiency, right? So however, energy audit things are going on, and we have been collaborating with some industries. As I already mentioned, we have initiated to replace diesel based thermal plant with pellet based, right? That's in a small scale, but we want to replicate those, and we have been actively working with EC mode on that. So we have a plan to formulate this roadmap of pellet. Actually, India and China, they have done very well in pellet, right? So we want to learn from them. Earlier, we have one workshop together with China, India, right? So that helps us to understand the dynamics of pellet and the quality aspects of pellet. So we want to learn those things, and we want to develop a pellet roadmap so that to some extent those fossil fuels can be replaced with indigenous products, biomass energy products, right? That actually for thermal load, actually we know it's really challenging, to use electricity, especially if we talk about the temperature requirement of more than 1,000 degrees centigrade in cement industries, iron industries. It's a really difficult job, right? So for that, pellet seems to be convenient, unless and until the market of green hydrogen will become mature. So that's our thinking at the moment. Thank you. Maybe any other questions, please?
No, I think it was wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Adhikari. I think you highlighted multiple key trends, including modernizing the grid and regional cooperation as well. I think these are challenges across the region. In fact, the next question over to you, Nawal, is along this one of the themes that Mr. Adhikari touched upon. As you continue implementing the compact, what are UAE's next priority for advancing cross-border clean energy across the Asia-Pacific region? I think this is quite pertinent at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you for this question. And I re-emphasize that UAE is working on several aspects when it's come to and looking ahead on focusing on deeper regional integration, practically cooperation, and specifically in the Asia-Pacific partners with them. So cross-border clean energy trading and grid connectivity, this is one of the key factors that we are capitalizing on. So currently UAE is interconnected with the GCCIA network within the Gulf region. However, we also are working with our counterparts from India to have a feasibility study to interconnect with them by submarine. And this is a crucial step for us, not only for the country, but for the region, to connect the East and the West. And this is undergoing exercise with collaboration with the Indian government to make sure that we can flow the clean electrons and green molecules across border, enhancing reliability and also reducing cost system. We are blessed in UAE that we have 100% access of electricity with quality and also 100% access of clean cooking technologies. That's why we are promoting for those aspects in different regions and have multiple projects abroad, not only commercial, but also a humanitarian aid to make sure that leaving no one behind. We are also working in the International Trade Forum coalition that we have established at COP28. We were the co-founder with the Netherlands, and now we are acting an active member in the IHTF to make sure also we can trade hydrogen, low carbon hydrogen, and decarbonize our hard-to-abate sector as well as others, such as our key counterparts from different regions, such as Japan, Korea, India, Europe, Germany, and so forth. Also, we are capitalizing on accelerating technology deployment. So we are prioritizing the digitalization of energy systems and advanced grid scale storage as well with the CCUS and the carbon removals. In addition to SAF, which is a sustainable aviation fuel, and AI-based planning tools to support us for future energy security. And we are working closely with IRENA, a long-term energy planning team. And this is a great network whereby each government could share their best practices, lesson learned to make sure that we benefit as countries. We have a lot to say, but I'll stop here to listen from the other speakers as well to learn what they are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nawal, for that intervention. Some very fascinating updates that you had shared and like areas of work. It's wonderful to hear. Of course, we are heading into COP30. So perhaps the next question that I have to you, Michael, is now that we are here and COP30 starts next week, what are ESCAP's top priority for aligning energy and climate commitments across the region through the Energy Compact platform?
Okay, thanks, Bala. I think, as we head into COP, people often say these are unprecedented times when they head into every COP. But I think this year, perhaps that's truer than it's ever been before. We're in a very different situation now in terms of the state of play of global cooperation, global trade, and so many other factors. When we talk about decarbonizing the global economy, in one sense, it's inevitable that this will happen. I mean, the technology, the technology cost curves, the economics, all of this progress, the physics of renewable energy can't really be argued with. It's inevitable that we will reach this future. But the question is, will we get there quickly enough in time that we don't trip over these guardrails of climate? So what we're talking about is really an acceleration challenge. The work that all of us, all of you are working on is really to accelerate all of these things that are happening to make sure that we get there before we hit the 1.5 degree guardrail or the 2.5 degree guardrail at 2.8 degrees. So I think that's really the characteristic of the challenge heading into COP. There's a lot of good news in clean energy, and I think one thing that we can all focus on is building this positive narrative about clean energy, because really clean energy and decarbonizing industry and society is a positive. It's a positive in terms of social development. It's a positive in terms of economic growth, health in so many different ways. And building this evidence-based policy narrative is really important. I think when we look at the challenges, we see a lot of different challenges depending on the individual country context. And a lot of our time is spent supporting the developing countries, and particularly the small island Pacific states and the countries in special situations with grappling with these challenges, because really the benefits of clean energy need to be shared by all, not just the bigger, more industrialized countries. And we see huge numbers of benefits. I mean, I just want to quote a couple of things. I'm from Australia, so obviously I'm thinking of an example from my home country. There was an announcement in Australia over the last week is that they make electricity free for 3 hours every day for householders. Now, this seems outlandish. Why would they do that? The reason is there's so much solar power on the system, they can't absorb it all. Unless you try and store all of this solar power, it's impossible to manage. So they're going to make it available for free, great for low-income households. It's actually great for reducing peak loads because everybody will use that electricity when otherwise they would have used it at peak times. It brings a lot of advantages, and this is one concrete, tangible advantage of clean energy. So we need to find many more of those to try and link up this narrative about how clean energy is good for everybody. And I mentioned technology, I mentioned finance and policy. One really important thing is regional cooperation, because you might say, okay, I live in a very small country that doesn't have sun or wind. How do I get on board the clean energy train? Well, regional cooperation is huge, not just for technology exchange and transfer, but interconnection of power grids, as referenced by Ms. Nawal with her region, and also Mr. Adhikari too with the BIMSTEC region. This is a huge potential for countries as electricity becomes a much more strategic and low carbon tool. Linking power grids is going to be really critical. And in our region, for example, in Mongolia, you have even up to 100 gigawatts of renewable energy, wind and solar is possible in Mongolia. All of that energy can be shared with its neighboring countries, the countries like China, Japan, South Korea, etc. There are enormous possibilities there that can be unlocked by regional cooperation. So the message is we need to do what we've been doing in the past, but we need to do it faster, and we need to do it in clever and more innovative ways. And we need to try and really get past this thinking that climate change is a burden, more towards climate change is an opportunity. And I think, if we think about how we've dealt with climate going back to Kyoto, we've really thought of it as some very far distant future cost that somebody's going to have to pay. I think we're starting to pay that cost now. A colleague of mine went back to Bihar in northern India for the festival season. The rice harvest there has just failed because when it's supposed to be dry in October and they're harvesting the rice, it's got completely flooded and the crop is dead. This has never happened before. You ask the old people in the villages, they've never heard of this happening before. 3 years ago in Pakistan in the monsoon, they had 7 times their monsoonal rainfall, and that caused complete flooding and devastation across Pakistan. So this is not some future cost we're thinking about. It's a current cost that is being built into pricing. Insurance companies are looking at this. Insurance premiums are going up. So I think, we think of this model about the frog in the pot of boiling water. As the temperature slowly rises, the frog doesn't notice. I think now the water is hot, but the frog is struggling to jump out of that boiling water right now. This is the challenge that we face. So I'll stop there, Bala, and hand back to you.
Thanks, Michael. I think you provided a wonderful sort of journey in terms of positive future outlooks to still the pertinent sort of climate mandate that we have heading into COP30. Moving back to you again, Riho, I think this would be the last question as part of the panel. I think you're doing quite excellently on time. I'm very least for us for being so prompt on that. So next one to you, Riho. How does Updater collaborate, or how would Updater like to collaborate with other energy compact stakeholders, including governments, utilities, corporates, or other innovators, to advance the momentum on 24/7 CFE in Japan?
Thank you for the question. At Updater, we believe that achieving 24/7 carbon-free energy requires more than individual efforts. It requires collaboration among all stakeholders, governments, utilities, corporates, and innovators. Through the compact, we aim to work together at 3 levels: policy, market, and practice to drive change in Japan. So first, collaboration with corporates and local governments. In Japan, the number of energy consumers and municipalities that have signed the 24/7 carbon-free energy compact is still very limited. So one of our priorities is to expand this community of signatories and encourage more demand-side actors to join. And we also work with companies through corporate PPA, connecting them directly with renewable energy producers, such as agrivoltaics like this picture, and citizen-owned solar projects. Through these projects, companies can decarbonize their operations while supporting local economies and sustainable agriculture. It's not just about buying renewable energy, it's about knowing who generate and where. As part of this collaboration, we also began offering our blockchain-based tracking system externally to other electricity retailers across Japan. This system first commercialized in 2018 and already enables 30 minutes level matching across over 600 renewable power plants and 4,000 demand sites. And since July, it is now available as a SaaS platform for other retailers. By sharing our technology, we aim to help other market players manage complex PPAs, FIP schemes, and environmental value tracking. So raising the overall quality and transparency of Japan's renewable market in line with the compact's values. We are also focusing on the quality of renewable generation, not just its quantity. So this month we launched the Good Power Plant Support Scheme, which pays an additional 1 yen per kilowatt hour to plants that operate in harmony with nature and local communities. We believe the value of clean energy lies not only in how much is produced, but also in how and when it is generated. So by sharing our data and experience, we hope to help create a market that reverses both quality and timing, a market built on transparency, fairness, and local impact. Finally, we see great potential for international collaboration under the compact. So many of Japan's challenges, like limited land, grid congestions, and variable demand, are shared across Japan. By exchanging data, policies, and real-world lessons, we can together build a data-driven and inclusive energy transition across the region. So in short, we want to serve as a bridge connecting corporates, governments, utilities, and innovators through transparency and trust. So together with a compact community, we can make 24/7 carbon-free energy a collaborative infrastructure for more sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Riho. Thanks for sharing those insights on the various ways we can work. I think it's more than Japan in terms of like there is a great potential even at a regional level to build 24/7 CFE. So once again, I would like to thank all the panelists. We come to the end of the panel discussion. So thank you, Dr. Adhikari, Michael, Nawal, and Riho for joining us and sharing us your insights. Next, I would like to call upon Dedi Rustandi from Bapanas to share some insights about energy compacts and how it can work as partnerships. Over to you, Dedi. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Can you hear us? Can you?
Yes, can hear you very well.
It sounds clear, yeah?
Yeah.
So actually, thank you, Bala, for the invitation, Michael, and also other panelists. So I was invited by Saksi to present like some insight. Actually, I don't prepare the PowerPoint, but I will tell our present like some progress of our energy compact. Actually, our energy compact has been updated. If I'm not mistaken, it's around March or April, because there are a lot of updated regulation and also policy. As you know that Indonesia has new administration under Pak Prabowo, our president. That actually there are a lot of initiative from side. So I will share about the some. Can you see about the the, the Excel? Yeah, the Excel that our
I
energy
can't
compact.
see it yet, Padidi. I don't know. It says, yeah, now I can. Yes,
Yeah,
you can.
okay.
Yes, yeah.
So actually, we put some target to energy compact. First is about the share of new and renewable energy from 12% in 2022 to around 21 to 23, and our performance in 2025 actually under our target, but I'm happy that we can slowly progress to the 16% in semester 1, and we hope we can get around 17% at the end of 2025, and then another target is about the energy efficiency, as Michael said that I think including in Indonesia, I think we have a slow progress around about the energy efficiency. In this target, actually, there is a change of methodology of measurement. Before 2025, we doesn't include the non-energy use as stock, but today as to result comprehensive view, so we include the feedstock commodity, for example, like coal as feedstock, and also natural gas feedstock in petrochemical. And but if we see the trend in last 2 years, actually, as by Michael, there is like increase of energy intensity. That means it's not very sufficient for energy efficiency. And then the last thing is about the annual greenhouse, that we got 158 something million ton CO2, and the solar PV for first semester is 1 gigawatt, and also wind. And I believe that at the end of the 2025, we believe that the capacity of solar will be increasing again, because this amount is only come from a state-owned company, PLN, and there is a lot of policy and regulation that actually we have resulted. First is we got a new national energy policy that become a basic regulation for energy transition, and also several technical regulation, including regarding the power purchase agreement. So it can strengthen government as a regulator to be a referee between PLN, state-owned company, as a major obstacle with the private or investor to develop new energy, renewable energy. And also, actually, in this year, we have technical regulation that to promote the implementation of energy conservation particularly by central and regional government. As you know that Indonesia regional government needs some guidance and some basic regulation as basic for them to budget some amount to energy efficiency. And beside of this regulation, actually, recently, our government has several initiatives that in still in early discussion, but it is expected that the initiative can be implemented in next year or maybe in 2027. For example, like bioethanol, and also the increase of percentage of biodiesel from recently in this year be 40 to be 50, and also co-firing biomass. And our president also asked in cabinet recently cabinet meeting that PLN should implement program of solar PV 1,100 gigawatt until 10 years, and with collaboration with cooperative in village and remote area. I think it can be a good program to increase of success. And the other homework is we still have to think about the subsidy reform for LPG or fossil fuel, for example, particularly in transport sector as a major consumption. And also I think that is our updated policy and regulation that we believe that we have to do in next coming years. And regarding the investment, yeah, based on our data, our that investment in renewable energy is still very limited compared to other sector. The total investment in energy sector is 13.9 billion. So the renewable energy is around 800 billion, is still far below. And but in according to PLN electricity supply, yeah, the total investment is very huge. So it's our work to fix or improve the investment climate in electricity, especially in renewable energy. And I think that's all that we believe that at the end of 2025 we can get some exact data in several target and several results. So that's it, Bala. Maybe what can I share about the realization and also the progress of our and other thing is we believe the regional cooperation. We in this semester we do some like MOU with Singapore to establish like a sustainable industrial zone and also develop a huge solar PV capacity. I think if it succeeds, it can contribute to the contribution of renewable energy to our energy system. I think that's all, Pak Bala.
Okay. Thank you, Padedi. Thank you for sharing like the updated energy compact. I'm glad to say it's one of the most rigorous ones, and I'm very glad that you could share this today. Also, just to highlight that we've also been working together under the Energy Compact Action Network last year, where we've been trying to work as SE for All and Papanas on some of Indonesia's energy compact sort of targets, and we hope to continue doing this more with other signatories and including with Nepal, who joined us earlier today. So thank you again. Could you please, would you be able to stop sharing screen? Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Padidi. Right. So we are at the end of our webinar. So I would like to now pass over the mic to Jacqueline Lam, who's a regional director from Asia, to share some closing remarks and reflections. Over to you, Jacqueline.
Thank you very much, Bala. Good afternoon, everyone from Singapore. It's been really great to see all of the discussions today. It will be so difficult to sum up all the very important points, but I just wanted to highlight that it's the Energy Compact network and the community has been really trailblazing in its collective action and its setting collective ambition. The over 200 proponents that we've gathered over the years, I think has just been nothing short of an inspiration, both approaching the energy transition topic from the national level as well as from the industry as well. All of us with the collective understanding that it will not be up to just one party to take action on this very broad-ranging and cross-sectoral topic. And so our collective action is absolutely crucial. I want to thank especially, the representatives from Nepal, from UAE, Pak Daddy from Indonesia, for all of the country level of ambition that we've seen, and spearheading a lot of these very important collaborative actions, and also governments taking lead in terms of setting the right regulatory frameworks, the right policy signals in order to also give market confidence, and to also facilitate companies such as Updata from Japan and other very key proponents from private sector in the 24/7 carbon-free compact in supporting this collective action, by also working together with governments as an ecosystem to contribute across the board, while the government sets policies for energy transition, with private sector looking at innovative ways to finance and innovative ways to deploy solutions, and to monitor some of the solutions deployment as well, especially in the case of Updata. So that being said, as we go into COP in the next 2 weeks, and this upcoming COP being the COP of implementation with a key area of focus, just really thinking through how the ambition setting and the collective action has been facilitated through energy compacts. And really in the next phase of energy compacts, very similar to last year's investor dialogue that we had in Indonesia, really, really important is to look at how finance as a catalyst for collective action across the board, and for delivering on some of the key targets and key deliverables that have been pledged in the energy compacts, both at the national level as well as at the company level. So, and I want to also reiterate a very important point that Michael talked about earlier in terms of the SDG7 targets, and how, while there has been very strong progress and we have been able to leverage, for example, the cost competitiveness of renewable energy deployment, we also see that there has been some slowing down in some aspects. In energy efficiency, we're still quite far from achieving universal access. We're still quite far from achieving universal clean cooking. So really, in the remaining 5 years that we have to the deadline of 2030 for achieving SDG7 targets, the really crucial part would be to really accelerate some of this collective action, and really start to look to financing as a catalyst to deliver all of these for us to collectively reach our SDG7 targets by 2030. And with that, I thank you all so much for your participation today. I think I'll hand back over to Bala just to any administrative last notes. Thank you, everybody.
No, thank you all for joining us today. Just wanted to get everyone on a frame for a nice screenshot, which serves as a virtual group photo now that we live in the age of Zoom and webinars. Thank you again for everyone.